There's a glacier in Antarctica that bleeds, a desert where rocks move on their own, a lake so pink it looks like someone dumped Pepto-Bismol into it, and mountains that look like someone spilled a rainbow. None of these are photoshopped. None of these are fake. They're all real, verifiable, scientific, and absolutely batshit insane. Welcome to Earth's Greatest Hits, the planet's most bizarre geographic phenomena that make you question whether we're living in a simulation designed by someone with way too much free time and a twisted sense of humor. Because, let's be honest, when you see a waterfall that runs red like blood, or rocks that slide across the desert leaving trails behind them, your first thought isn't, wow, science. It's, what the hell? So buckle up. We're about to tour some of the most unbelievable, jaw-dropping, reality-bending natural wonders on this planet. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll either be booking plane tickets or questioning everything you thought you knew about Earth. Let's start with the one that looks like a crime scene. Blood Falls, Antarctica, Taylor Glacier. And yes, it looks exactly like what you think. A massive glacier actively bleeding red liquid all over the ice. When Australian geologist Griffith Taylor stumbled across this in 1911, he probably thought he'd discovered the world's most metal natural landmark, or that Antarctica was haunted. Neither would have been wrong. The waterfall literally pours crimson water out of a crack in the glacier, like the Earth opened a vein and forgot to close it. For decades, scientists thought it was algae, red algae turning the water blood red. Logical. Boring. Wrong. In 2023, yes, just 2 years ago, researchers at Johns Hopkins finally cracked the case using high-powered electron microscopes. And the answer? Iron. Specifically, tiny iron-rich nanospheres that oxidize when they hit oxygen. Translation: the glacier is rusting in real time. Here's the story. About 5 million years ago, the ocean flooded East Antarctica, created a salty inland lake. Then glaciers formed over it, trapped this lake under 400 meters of ice for 2 million years. No sunlight, no oxygen, just salt, sulfur, and iron dissolving from the bedrock beneath. And living in this lake? Bacteria. At least 17 different species of extremophile microbes that don't need oxygen or sunlight to survive. They've been down there for 2 million years, eating sulfur, metabolizing iron, living their best apocalypse-proof life. When this iron-rich brine leaks out through cracks in the glacier, it hits oxygen, rusts instantly, turns blood red, and creates one of the most terrifying-looking natural phenomena on the planet. Scientists love it because it's basically a preview of what life on Mars or Europa might look like. Tourists love it because it's nightmare fuel. Win-win. But Blood Falls isn't even the weirdest thing Antarctica has to offer. Let's talk about brinicles, also known as ice fingers of death, because that's not ominous at all. Brinicles are underwater icicles that form when super cold brine from sea ice sinks and freezes the water around it. They grow downward like stalactites, except instead of forming over thousands of years in a cave, they form in minutes. And they kill everything they touch. When a brinicle reaches the ocean floor, it flash freezes anything in its path. Starfish, sea urchins, crabs, all frozen solid, encased in ice, dead. It's like nature's version of Medusa, except instead of stone, it's ice. And it's real. The largest brinicle ever recorded? 30 feet long, spotted in 2011 by a BBC film crew who probably needed therapy afterward. Okay, let's leave Antarctica before it gives us frostbite through the screen. Time to head somewhere warmer. Death Valley, California, home of sailing stones. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a dry lake bed, flat, desolate, and scattered across this barren landscape are rocks, some the size of a shoebox, others weighing 700 pounds. And behind each rock, a trail, like something dragged it across the ground. Except nothing did. The rocks moved themselves. This is Racetrack Playa, and for over a century, nobody could explain it. Theories ranged from aliens to magnetic fields to underground earthquakes. People even accused tourists of pushing the rocks as a prank. But here's the thing. You can't fake 700-pound boulders moving hundreds of feet across the desert. Not without heavy machinery, and there are no tire tracks. In 2014, scientists from Scripps Institution of Oceanography finally solved it. They installed GPS trackers on 15 rocks, set up time-lapse cameras, waited, and then, on December 21, 2013, it happened. Water from winter rain flooded the playa, froze overnight into a thin sheet of window pane ice. Just thick enough to float, just thin enough to crack. When the sun came up, the ice melted slightly, broke into panels, and light winds, just 10 miles per hour, pushed these ice sheets across the mud, shoving rocks in front of them. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a few inches per second. The researchers literally watched it happen. After 100 years of mystery, they were the first humans to see rocks move on their own. And their reaction? "This is it!" Followed by, "Wait, that's way slower than we expected." Because here's the kicker. The rocks moved so slowly that tourists probably walked past them mid-motion without noticing. You'd have to stare at a rock for several minutes to see it inch forward. And who does that? Nobody. Except scientists with too much time and government funding. Let's keep the rock theme going, but make it colorful. Rainbow Mountains, Zhangye Dangxia, China. And yes, they look exactly like someone took a paintbrush to geology. Imagine mountains striped with red, yellow, orange, green, blue, and purple. Like sedimentary layers got drunk and decided to cosplay as a Lisa Frank notebook. These aren't painted. They're not fake. They're 24 million years of mineral deposits stacked on top of each other, compressed, lifted by tectonic activity, and exposed by erosion. The colors come from different minerals. Red and orange, iron oxide. Yellow, sulfur. Green, chlorite. It's like Earth's periodic table decided to throw a rave. And it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Because of course it is. China turned geology into art and said, "You're welcome, world." You can only view them from specially constructed platforms. Because if tourists were allowed to walk on them, they'd ruin it in about 5 minutes. Humanity can't have nice things. Now let's talk about a lake that hates the concept of being blue. Lake Hillier, Australia. And it's not just pink, it's bubblegum pink, Barbie dream house pink. Did someone dump food coloring in here? Pink. This lake is 600 meters long, 250 meters wide, and completely, unapologetically pink. Discovered in 1802, still pink in 2025. Nobody knows exactly why. The leading theory? Microalgae called Dunaliella salina, the same stuff that makes carrots orange. These algae produce carotenoids, a red-orange pigment. Mix that with the lake's high salinity, and boom, pink water. But scientists aren't 100% certain, because nature likes to keep some secrets. And the best part? You can swim in it. The water is safe, just super salty, so don't drink it unless you want to speedrun dehydration. Most people view it from helicopters because aerial shots make it look like a photoshopped fever dream. Except it's not. It's just Australia being Australia. A continent where everything is either trying to kill you or looks like it belongs in a cartoon. But before we dive into more geographic insanity, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you want to see more content like this. It really helps the channel grow. Now, back to Earth's greatest hits. Let's head to Northern Ireland. Giant's Causeway. About 40,000 interlocking hexagonal basalt columns rising out of the ocean like nature's attempt at brutalist architecture. Legend says the Irish giant Finn McCool built it as a bridge to Scotland so he could fight another giant. Science says it's the result of a volcanic eruption 60 million years ago. Lava cooled rapidly, cracked into hexagonal shapes, like how mud dries. Except these columns are 12 meters tall and look like they were designed by aliens with a geometry fetish. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tourists love it. Game of Thrones filmed there. And geologists still argue about the exact cooling process that created such perfect hexagons. Because even when we understand something, Earth likes to keep us guessing. Now let's go to Bolivia. Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. 10,000 square kilometers of pure white salt. So flat that when it rains, it becomes the world's largest mirror. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water covers the salt, creates a perfect reflection of the sky. You can't tell where the ground ends and the sky begins. It's like walking on clouds, or being trapped in an M.C. Escher painting. And underneath all that salt? Lithium. About 70% of the world's lithium reserves, the stuff that powers your phone, your laptop, your electric car. Bolivia is sitting on a gold mine, except they can't mine it without destroying one of the most beautiful places on Earth. So it's a standoff between progress and preservation, with tourists in the middle taking Instagram photos. Let's get glowing. Bioluminescent Bays. Puerto Rico, the Maldives, Vietnam. Places where the ocean lights up like a rave when you disturb it. The culprits? Dinoflagellates. Tiny microorganisms that glow blue when agitated. Swim in the water? It glows. Splash? It glows. Kayak through it at night? You leave a trail of electric blue light behind you, like you're piloting a spaceship. The largest concentration? Mosquito Bay, Puerto Rico. Despite the name, it's stunning. Millions of dinoflagellates per gallon. Every movement creates sparks. Scientists call it bioluminescence. Tourists call it magic. Both are correct. And yes, it's fragile. Pollution, light pollution, and climate change are killing these bays. So if you want to see water that glows, do it soon, before humanity ruins it, as is tradition. Time for something violent. Catatumbo lightning, Venezuela, Lake Maracaibo, a place where lightning strikes up to 28 times per minute for 260 days a year, non-stop. This isn't a storm, it's a permanent electrical anomaly. Warm, moist air from the Caribbean meets cool mountain air from the Andes, creates massive electrical charges. And the result? Lightning. Constant, relentless, terrifying. Sailors used it as a natural lighthouse for centuries, called it the Maracaibo Beacon, because you can see the flashes from 250 miles away. It's the world's top location for lightning activity, and it's been going strong for centuries. Fun fact, All that lightning helps replenish the ozone layer. So while it looks apocalyptic, it's actually helping the planet. Nature's way of multitasking. Let's end with something mysterious. The Taos Hum, New Mexico. A low-frequency humming noise that only some people can hear. It's been reported since the 1990s, and nobody knows what's causing it. People describe it as a persistent droning sound, like a diesel engine idling in the distance, except there's no engine, no source. It just exists. About 2% of Taos residents can hear it. The rest? Nothing. Theories range from underground geological activity to military experiments to tinnitus, but nobody's proven anything. The hum remains, unexplained, maddening. A geographic mystery that science hasn't cracked. And that's the beauty of Earth. Even in 2025, with all our technology and knowledge, the planet still has secrets, still surprises us, still makes us question reality. So there you have it, insane geographic phenomena that seem impossible but aren't. Glaciers that bleed, rocks that sail, lakes that glow, mountains that look painted, and hums that nobody can explain. Earth is weird. Wonderfully, terrifyingly, beautifully weird. And the craziest part? These are just the ones we know about. There are probably dozens more waiting to be discovered, hidden in jungles, buried under ice, sitting in plain sight while we walk past oblivious. So next time someone tells you the world is boring, show them blood falls, or sailing stones, or a pink lake. Because if this planet can produce rainbows made of rock and underwater icicles that kill everything they touch, boring is the last word anyone should use. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this tour of Earth's greatest glitches, hit that subscribe button, because there's way more geographic chaos coming your way. And trust me, it only gets weirder from here.